Picture this. It's January 7th, 2025, Ghana's presidential inauguration. 21 African head of states are in attendance, but when one particular leader steps forward, the crowd erupts. The loudest applause for the entire ceremony isn't for the newly sworn-in president. It's for a 37-year-old military captain from one of Africa's poorest nations. That captain? He's Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. But here is where our investigation begins. What we witnessed that day wasn't just popularity, it was something far more bigger happening across the continent. Presidents, ministers, and entire governments are quietly studying Traoré's playbook, and some are copying it word for word. Today we uncover which African leaders are secretly adopting Ibrahim Traoré's game-changing strategies and why it matters for Africa's future. Now, before we dive deeper, I need to address something one of our viewers, Brackpack, pointed out in a recent video comment. Brackpack hit something crucial here. While the West preaches democracy, what if Africa needs something entirely different? What if these leaders copying Traoré aren't just admiring his style? They are rejecting a system that wasn't designed to work for Africa. Now hold that thought, because what I am about to show you will flip what you think you know about African leadership. Now the first clue in our investigation is Ghana. Ghana, March 2025. A policy so radical it shocked even Traoré's supporters. Here is what happened. Ghana's government issued a sweeping order that sent shockwaves across the gold industry. Every single foreign gold trader was expelled from the country's artisanal mining sector. After April 30th, 2025, only Ghanaians could buy gold from local miners. Think about this for a moment. Ghana just shut down Chinese and Lebanese gold operators who have been operating in the country for decades. They risked millions of dollars in foreign investments for the sake of national sovereignty. Sounds familiar? It should, because this is exactly, and I mean exactly, what happened in Burkina Faso when Traoré nationalized gold mines and stopped exporting unrefined gold to Europe. But here is the kicker. Ghana's new president, John Mahama, didn't stop there. He went a step further to implement Traoré's anti-corruption playbook, demanding all ministers declare their assets or face immediate dismissal and 4 months of salary penalty. The results? Some Ghanaian ministers tried to flee the country, fearing exposure of their illicit wealth, just like what happened in Burkina Faso. So my question to you is, do you think Ghana would have made these changes without Traoré's example? Leave your thoughts in the comments section. One country copying Traoré could be coincidence, but our investigation revealed this is happening across Africa. Let me show you the pattern. Evidence number 2, Namibia April 2025. President Netumbo Nandi, the Iron Lady of Africa, imposed visa requirements on US citizens, ending decades of visa-free entry. Her reasoning? If Namibians face hurdles visiting the US, Americans must face the same here. While Western diplomats called it hostile, across African social media, she was hailed as a lioness and a sister to Traoré. The message was clear. The era of African subservience was ending. Evidence number 3, Botswana's President Duma Boko. This one will blow your mind. He has been photographed repeatedly in military uniform, a complete departure of Botswana's civilian leadership tradition. But here is the smoking gun. Boko publicly praised Traoré's speed of governance, saying,
Traore is doing them. Traore wakes up, dreams them up. Following morning, he makes a pronouncement. It is law. It is policy. Action follows.
Now, right after this speech, Boko vowed to subvert bureaucratic rules unapologetically to match Traore's efficiency. Now, the question that is actually bubbling in my heart is this a coincidence or coordinated? Now let's talk about numbers, because we can't pretend this is just about politics. It's about money, massive money. Burkina Faso's economy is projected to grow 8% annually through 2043. Ghana's gold policy alone could redirect millions in revenue from foreign pockets to local communities. Botswana is developing a military-industrial complex to reduce foreign dependence. Imagine you are a Chinese gold trader who has operated in Ghana for 20 years. Suddenly you are locked out, and that $50 million annual profit stream now stays in Ghanaian hands. Multiply this across mining, oil and agriculture, and we are talking about billions in wealth redistribution. But here is the catch. The West isn't happy. In April 2025, US General Michael Langley accused Traore of misusing Burkina Faso's gold reserves. Translation: America is worried about losing influence. Which brings us to our next piece of evidence, one that reveals how threatened Western powers really are. Our investigation covered something fascinating. Traore isn't just winning hearts through policy. He is mastering the digital battlefield. Across social media, AI-generated videos show Traore delivering speeches in multiple languages, leading fictional armies and toppling Western empires. The captions: Africa's Messiah, the people's captain. Even when the content is fake, deepfake audio tracks mimicking Beyonce and Rihanna singing his praises. It spreads like wildfire among African youth. Why? Because it represents something real and tangible: hope. The power play here is genius. While Western media focuses on his controversies, Traore's team is building a Pan-African movement that transcends borders. Young Africans from Nigeria to Jamaica are organizing solidarity rallies, demanding a Traore in every African country. Just when we thought we have mapped all the influence, another piece of evidence emerged. Zambia's president Hakainde Hichilema just exposed what he calls the EU-UK visa scam. Hichilema demanded that Europe refund visa application fees for rejected Zambian applicants, calling the current system fundamentally unfair. Think about this for a moment. Zambians save for months to afford these non-refundable fees, often between $100 to $200. While diplomats called it unreasonable, Africans called it justice. Hichilema framed it as exploitation, exactly the kind of sovereignty-first rhetoric Traore pioneered. The pattern are undeniable. From resource control to diplomatic dignity, leaders across Africa are adopting the Traore playbook. But here is where our investigation takes a dramatic turn. This isn't just about copying policies, it's about revolutionizing how Africa is governed. The traditional African leadership, 63-year-old average age, slow bureaucracy, decades in power with little progress. The Traore-style leadership, 37-year-old energy, rapid implementation, military symbolism, and zero tolerance for corruption. The contrast is stark. When Traore declared his net worth at $128,000, making him one of the world's poorest leaders, it sent shockwaves through African palaces where some leaders are worth billions of dollars. The economic implications are staggering. If more African leaders adopt resource sovereignty, reject predatory loans, and prioritize rapid industrialization, we could witness the fastest economic transformation in African history. But there is a cost. Based on our investigation, Here's what I predict would happen next. 1. More military symbolism. I expect to see civilian leaders adopting military aesthetic and rhetoric. 2. Resource nationalism. Countries like Nigeria, Tanzania, Kenya will likely implement policies restricting foreign control over natural resources. 3. Diplomatic boldness. More African leaders will publicly challenge Western policies demanding reciprocity and respect. 4. Youth mobilization. The generation that grew up frustrated with slow progress will increasingly support rapid transformative leadership. Then we have regional alliances. New blocs are going to form, prioritizing African solutions over regional partnerships. And finally, the economic reshuffling is going to be massive. We are talking about potentially trillions of dollars staying in African hands rather than flowing to former colonial powers. But the real question is, will this lead to African renaissance or authoritarianism? Now, here is what our investigation reveals. Ibrahim Traoré isn't just Burkina Faso's president. He has become the template of a new kind of African leadership. From Ghana's gold revolution to Botswana's military symbolism to Zambia's diplomatic boldness, leaders are studying his playbook. The economic implications are enormous. If this trend continues, we could witness the largest transfer of wealth and power in African history. But remember Brakpak's comments. Maybe protecting democracy isn't the goal. Maybe Africa needs something entirely different, something that prioritizes rapid development over lengthy debates, resource control over foreign investment, and African dignity over Western approval. Your strategic takeaway should be this: whether you are an investor, policymaker, or simply someone who cares about Africa's future, you cannot ignore this trend. The leaders rising to power today will reshape the continent for the next 30 years. Here is my challenge for you. Look at your country's leadership. Are they delivering results at the pace of your generation's demand? Are they prioritizing national sovereignty over foreign approval? Are they willing to make hard choices for long-term transformation? Drop a comment and tell me which African leader do you think will be next to adopt Traoré's approach. I am reading every single comment, and your insights often inspire the next investigation. And if you found value on this deep dive, watch this next video. The revolution is happening. The question is, are you paying attention? Until my next video, bye.